Perfect. Okay, now we're not picking up all the the extra conversations. Good morning, guys. My name is Christina Ray. I am the Financial Wellness Officer for BB&T Now Truist. I represent all of Palm Beach County, and I am so happy to be here. I have a few of my teammates on the line as well. We have Miriam. Actually, if you guys want to introduce yourselves and let everyone know which area you guys are in, so everyone knows who you are and where you're at.
Gladly. Good morning. I'm Miriam Collette. I am the branch leader manager of our Lighthouse Plaza location here in Palm Beach Gardens on A1A and Lighthouse. Been with BB&T Now Truist for 16 plus years, and I'm very, very excited to get to participate today and looking forward to many more in the future.
Tari, Andre, you guys want to introduce yourself? Andre, I think you're on mute. We see you, we don't hear you.
I sure am. Hello, my name is Andre Aarons. I'm a branch leader with BB&T Bank. I've been with the bank over 17 years. I'm delighted to be here to be able to share some thoughts and ideas with everyone from the city of Riviera Beach. I look forward to conversating with all of you, and it's going to be a great session. So definitely look forward to this. Thank you.
And last but not least, Ms. Tari, are you able to introduce yourself? Okay, that's okay. She just texted me and said something's not working on her audio. No problem. So Miss Tari Bolden is actually with BB&T as well. She's in the Riviera Beach location. I will make sure you guys get her information as well. We're going to throw up a slide so you guys have everyone's information. Actually, Miriam, Andre, do you mind putting your information in the chat feature? So, and your location, that way, if they want to reach out to you personally, because you're closer to their location, they have somebody that they know in their close proximity. And if someone can do that for Tari. Oh, Tari did. Okay, great. She's one step ahead of me. All right, perfect. Okay, great. So again, my name is Christina. I have been with BB&T going on 4 years. I was actually in a partnership with the bank prior and didn't really see myself working at a bank, but when this program and this company was introduced to me, I just knew that I belonged, and it was family for me. So for those of you who do not know, BB&T and SunTrust have now merged together to create a premier financial institute named Truist. So that's why you'll hear us say, I work for BB&T Now Truist, SunTrust Now Truist. Eventually, you will just see Truist. But that is our new name. You will probably still see BB&T and SunTrust signage, but eventually, in probably a year, 2 years, you will see Truist coming through, and you'll start seeing the signs for those. So together we stand for better, we strive for better, and that means better experiences, better partnerships, better technology, and a better community. You know, when we work together, we're fierce, and we can conquer so much more together, and we really are able to serve our purpose, and that is to truly inspire, to build better lives and communities. What better way than to start right here in our community with you guys. So again, I thank you guys so much for your time. I kind of want to start this a little lighthearted. So if COVID didn't exist and we could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you like to go? Where do we want to visit? Just use the chat feature. If you haven't figured out the chat feature, you are able to take yourself off of mute and just let us know. Where do you want to be? I was supposed to go to Tulum, Mexico, but that got canceled last April. So I still want to go there. Miriam, what about you? Andre said he just wants to get on a plane to go anywhere. Tari wants to go to Hawaii. Me too. Oh, Miriam's going to Vegas. Dang, she didn't even invite us. Oh. All right, what about you, Yoel, Nick, Anetta? Where do you guys want to go? Lisa? Okay, all right, I'm seeing them come in. Okay, Kristen wants to go to Mexico, Aruba. Okay, see, I'm not the only one, you know, with the tropical vibes. Okay. And then Monica has travel plans. Oh, she had travel plans to Australia. Oh, that's the worst. They got canceled. Okay. Well, now that Jamaica, home for rest. Okay, so Lisa, you're from Jamaica. All right. Andre too. You got light kinship there. All right. So now that we're in the tropical feel and we're feeling a little bit more vacationy, now is the time for us to talk about what we're here for. So BB&T Now Truist / SunTrust Now Truist. We are here to inspire and build better lives and communities. Like I said, we have a great mission, and that is to pull together our clients, teammates, stakeholders, and make sure that we are using our values, which is being trustworthy, caring, one team, building success, and, you know, spreading happiness. That's how we're going to do that. We are here to talk about credit. So what determines my credit score? Which of the following do you think impact your credit score the most? A, types of credit. B, length of credit history. C, amounts owed. D, payment history. Or E, new credit. I'll give you a hint. The answer is at the bottom. All right, where's my chat feature?
It's the payment history.
Yes, payment history. That means you got to pay it on time. And you guys are welcome to use the chat feature to throw your answers up there. But yes, Andre, you are correct. It is payment history. That actually makes up 35% of your credit score. So when we do consultations with you guys one-on-one, and you're like, how do I build my credit? Where do we start? First thing we're going to tell you is make sure it's being paid on time. The next largest is the amounts owed. So are you keeping any lines of credit under that 30% threshold? You know, are you paying it on time, but are you also keeping it under the 30% threshold? Then you have the length of the credit history, which in my honest opinion, there's not really much you can do about it because that has to do with time. So making sure that you keep your lines of credit open for as long as possible, that will help you as well. Not closing out credit cards and closing up those lines of credit. So making sure that you keep those open. And then you have 10% on your types of credit. So this is your student loans, your car loans, your personal loans, your credit cards, all of those equate to your types of credit. And there are many things that populate that. And then 10% for your new credit. So any of you guys looking to rebuild your credit, this will be something that you'd look into. Anything new credit is going to factor, but not a whole lot. And obviously you're going to need new credit to help rebuild that credit if you don't already have anything, any established lines of credit. So take a look at the chart below to see how important each factor is to your credit score. The percentages represented below are approximate and can differ between reporting agency. These credit score ratings are for informational purposes. So every lender and different companies evaluate credit through their own guidelines, but this is kind of a rough estimate of what is generally looked at and how it's equated. So credit scores and reports. Your credit can have a big impact on your financial life. Credit scores and reports provide a snapshot of the financial habits that financial institutions, cell phone companies, credit card companies, and others use to get a sense of your credit worthiness. Understand how credit scores and reports work to help you achieve financial goals, such as buying a home, leasing a car, or paying off debt. So what is a credit score? A credit score is a 3-digit number that represents the credit worthiness of an individual based on factors from their financial history. So credit scores, whether low or high, can have a big impact on your life. Not only when you're buying things, but now recently, you know, when you go to get hired, some of these companies are actually pulling your credit score because it shows them a little bit about your behaviors. You know, are you one who can, you know, pay your bills on time and things like that? Think about it. That person's business, they're relying on you as an employee to make sure you do everything that you're supposed to do. So they may take into consideration your credit score for that. When you're buying an apartment, you know, based on your credit and how you pay your bills, all of that comes into factor because they don't know how much of a risk you are. So if you're shopping for an apartment, they may make you pay first month, last month, and a deposit. So just think about those things and how much, if you impact your credit and you have better credit, how it can positively impact your life. Most companies will look at your credit score to determine if they will do business with you and at what cost. Cell phone companies, insurance industry, any type of loan, credit card, utilities, just to name a few, all of those are looking at your credit score just to determine, you know, basic features of if you pay on time, if you're, you know, utilizing it correctly. So these are very, very important things to keep in mind. And an even more important reason for why we're here, because we can help with those things. Credit scores are a measure of financial trust and are used by lenders to determine things such as whether you qualify for a loan, the interest you will be charged, and the maximum amount you may be loaned. The higher you score, the more financial options will generally be available to you. So take a look at this chart. Anything from 300 to about 580 is considered poor credit. Anything from 580 to 670 is considered fair. 670 to 740 is good. 740 to 800 is very good. And 800 to 850 is exceptional. The two most common credit score models are FICO and Vantage Score. How does credit score impact lives? So take a look at the example below to see how different credit scores may impact the overall price of buying a used car. In this example, each person, there's 3 of them, are buying a $6,000 used car with $500 down payment, and the loan term is 5 years. So everyone's looking at the same car, the same cost, and the same down payment. The only difference is their credit score. So Lucy's credit score is 800 to 850. The lowest rate on a used car is 4.2%. Interest charged is $607, which makes the total cost of the loan $6,607. So she's only paying $607 additional dollars in interest. Tony has a credit score of 700 to 749, which is relatively low on a used relatively low rate on a used car. For that credit score is 8%. Interest charged is $1,191, making it a total cost of the loan $7,191. And then you have Joe with a credit score of 550 to 600. High interest rate on a used car is 15%. Interest charged on that will be $2,351. The total cost of the loan will be $8,351. So just take a look at that, guys. You have good credit and you're only paying a couple $100 in addition because you have good credit, to where you get, you know, relatively low where you're paying over $1,000 to really low, considering, you know, considered low where you're paying over $2,000 for this same car. I was one of those people. So when I believe I was 18, 19 years old, I had to buy my first car. I had no established credit. And unfortunately, I went to Drive Time. So they're like, no problem, we can help you. All I knew is I had a job, I needed wheels. So I didn't care. Let's just make a deal. Like, let's get this car. Guys, I bought an old Kia Optima with too many miles on it. Who wants to guess what my interest rate was?
18?
I wish.
22.
Keep going.
Oh boy.
It was,
and, you know,
24%. I don't even know how I afforded this car.
Oh my
I
goodness.
believe I was paying like $450 on an old Kia Optima, guys, at 18, 19 years old. I don't know how I did it, but think about that. Like, because I didn't have credit, I was taken advantage of. They gave me the max amount of interest they could, just because I was so vulnerable and they knew that I needed something. So at that point, they had the power, not me. So again, this is another reason why it's so important. And that's why we're reaching out, is because people like me get taken advantage of every day. And I didn't have somebody in finance to teach me those ways. I didn't have a workshop on credit to teach me, what does this all mean? How can I help myself? How can I do better? So
Christina?
Yes.
And if you don't mind, go back to that slide.
Yeah, of course.
This is something that we speak to many of our clients today, and I even looked at the chat box and I see that is that Ms. Cadet that helps people with credit. I speak to a lot of clients and I tell them to have a relationship with their bank, and there's a big reason to that. When you go to a dealership, they will never tell you the interest rate usually. They just ask you how much of a payment do you want to have, or how much of a payment can you afford. They're not obligated to go over rates or anything like that. And because we're lenders here in the bank, I can tell you the numerous amount of times that we ask our clients, you know, what kind of rate do you have on your car? And they don't know. My payment is $400, $500. And then I do a refinance for someone who has great credit. And when I say great credit, I'm talking about 720 and over. I'm not talking even in the 800s. We're talking about 720 and above. Because anything under that, you're still going to get a great rate and better than what you get at the dealership. Mm-hmm. But imagine if you go from a $500 payment to going down to a $250 payment, or even a $200 payment because I dropped your interest rate more than half of what you got at the dealership. Because what most people don't know is this: the bank offered a rate to that dealer. That dealer is not going to tell you that they're going to add their margin to that rate. So you're actually paying a lot more for your vehicle, because every time you make a payment, that difference has to go right back to that dealership. And of course, that's how they make their money. But nonetheless, if you know you have good credit, you don't necessarily have to do that particular loan. If you bring it into your bank, and especially if you have an established relationship, you can simply send an email or text message to your banker and say, hey, I'm getting a new 2021 vehicle and I'm getting an interest rate of 4%. Your banker might come back and say, I could do about 1.96 on that, or 2% on that car. Just get the purchase order and come see me. But again, these are the things that we do for a living. And I'm here to tell you that I do it personally for my clients. And there's no shame in that. When you have a relationship, talk to us. We're here to help you. We're not here to charge you. We're here to help you. If we can't make you money or save you money or make your financial life convenient, then we won't waste our time. But nonetheless, there's always something that we can help with when it comes to finances.
Correct. And I always say, stress your options. So, you know, what Andre is speaking of, and something that I learned myself, is that you don't have to be a client of ours in order to send Andre or Miriam or Tari a message and say, hey, I know I was on that call and I just want to see if I qualify for maybe a refi. What can you guys do? You know, can you do anything? You know how many times they've helped non-clients? Absolutely. All the time, because that's what we're here for. To impact the community is to help people that may not necessarily already be banking with us. But if we show you the things that we can do, we may end up making you a client. You know, you may love the service and love the one-on-one consultation so much that you want to be a client. So you don't have to be a client in order to have someone look to see if you qualify for a refi. Can we beat the interest rate that you're currently paying? Heck, you don't even have to be a client for us to shop for a car for you, which I also just learned that you guys can shop for cars.
Yeah. And guess what? It feels good. It feels very, very good, because guess what? You're going to sit in that dealership for an hour or 2 hours to wait for your paperwork. You could call me in about 90% of the time. Within 10 minutes, I'll have an answer for you. And I could probably close you with it. Within that hour, I can close that loan and give you your money to go to the dealership and give them that check. And the only person you're dealing with is me.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I learned also, since we are talking about credit scores, and I'll touch base on this too. I know we're using the car, but that's just because it's an example. But something that I did not realize, and it took my, me until just recently to realize, when you go car shopping, you do not have to have them pull your credit. Usually when you're out shopping, they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to help you. First thing we need, let me have your social so I can see where your credit stands. That is Not a good idea. Unless you are ready to walk with the keys and make that deal that day, you can give them a rough estimate. Hey, look, I'm on Credit Karma. I'm on my bank app. Here is a rough estimate of what my credit is. Here's the payment that I can afford. And this is the car that I'm looking at. Can you make this happen, or can you not? And if they say, well, we won't know until we pull your credit, walk out of that car dealership. I promise you, they will call you 15, 20 minutes later, because that is something that they absolutely can do. But those people work off of commission, so they want to lock you in. And the way that they lock you in is by pulling your credit. Because if you don't like the rate that they give you, or you don't like the payment, and you go to another car dealership and do the same process over, you're pulling your credit again, which is dinging it and creating your credit to lower the more you do that. So just little tricks of the trades. And I'm sure, Miriam, Tari, Andre can speak on something of that sort as well.
Thank you. I just wanted to elaborate on that. Sorry, I just cut someone off. Was that you, Miriam?
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
Sorry. No. I was just telling Christina thanks, because seeing this, I remember my first car purchase. I remember those kind of interest rates and how much more money I ended up paying for a car. Never again. But again, it took time for me to learn and understand, hey, the value of a dollar, we all work hard for our money, but we want to put a lot more of it in our pocket and not somewhere else.
Well, it's something I was going to elaborate on as well. The power of having a relationship with your bank, just the same, whether it's a car or, a house or things like that. Sometimes we come across people that may have average credit, and unfortunately, a higher interest rate is where we start out. However, when you work with your banker, we can strategize on what you need to do in order to clean up and rehabilitate that credit, at which time then we can look at refinancing, at better rates and better terms, through that journey. That's something else very much we do.
I do want to speak on that as well. So I had a client who had 3 cars, and we took a look at those, and we were able to refinance, save him, I believe it was $80 a car, and lower the term and the interest. I mean, that's pretty darn amazing when you calculate 3 cars where you're saving $80 each per month, and it's a lower rate and a lower term. I mean, that's just mind-boggling. So again, that's just to let you guys know that we're in your corner. We don't work for commission. So I assure you, if you turn to us and say, hey, I just want you to take a look at something, I'm trying to rebuild my credit. I'm trying just to see, what I can do differently. We're going to look at that, because you are the people that make up the community that we live in. If we help you, we make our community better. We're not here to earn any kind of commission. So it's not a used car salesman speech. We just benefit you by helping you. And guess what? The job does itself. So just wanted to touch on that. I know I just kind of got a little long-winded, but these are things that I have learned, through my trials and error. And if I can save somebody, that kind of heartache, that kind of money, for one, I definitely want to do that. Even if that means exposing some of my skeletons of paying 24% interest rate on a horrible car that air condition went out like a month later. So, but we won't speak on that, right? All right. So
we'll let that one slide.
yes. Don't judge me, guys. My teammates are on here like, I cannot even believe. Trust me. I look back, I'm like, oh God, I can shake myself.
We all start somewhere.
Exactly. So how do I get my credit report? Where do we start? Credit report is absolutely the first step. Getting your credit report, having somebody look it over if you don't fully understand it. There may be things that we can, get eliminated off your credit. There may be things that we can quickly jump your credit up just by, maybe a secure credit card or, a regular credit card. For me, it was just getting another credit card, because I closed out the 3 that I had when I had bad behavior, not realizing that I closed all my lines of credit. So there was no way to build it. So you can request your credit report from the credit bureaus, which collect information about your credit background and provide reports to each other companies about you. There are 3 major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Upon request, each must provide you with a free credit report once every 12 months. Why should I monitor all of my credit reports? If you're about to make a major purchase, you may want to get all 3 reports at once. That way you can fix any possible errors right away. So where do you get them? www.annualcreditreport.com. That's where you can get an extensive credit report that will show you everything. I also suggest Credit Karma. It's a free app. You can check it as often as possible, and it will let you know basically a rough estimate of what your credit score is, what's on there. So if you need something digital, you can do that as well. But definitely pull this. I will never forget doing a workshop like this, telling someone to pull their credit report, and she realized she had a house in Arizona. She has never been to Arizona. So how does she have a house there? Someone had stolen her identity and purchased a whole house, not just like a cell phone, not just a shopping spree, a whole house, guys. So imagine finding that out and you didn't realize it because you hadn't pulled your credit report in a while. So it is vital that you do that. That will definitely be the first step in getting your credit rebuilt or starting your credit, just to make sure that no one has stolen your identity. What's included on my credit report? It's really important to monitor your credit by reviewing your reports every year, which means it is important that you understand what to expect to see and what to expect to see including on your credit report. I did not type this, just so everybody knows. One is your personal information, your name, address, full or partial social security number, date of birth, and employment information. 2, your accounts, any reporting accounts with the following: date opened, credit limits, credit owed, loan amount, balances, and payment history. Inquiries. Hard inquiries can impact your credit rating and credit score. They are typically requested by companies after you've applied for a loan or credit. Soft inquiries won't impact your credit rating or score. These are usually requested by companies offering promotions, existing creditors, doing periodic reviews, or by you monitoring your own credit. So the difference in like a hard inquiry, that's when you're shopping for an apartment, buying a house, a car. Those will be hard impacts, or even applying for a credit card. Soft impacts, your Credit Karma. Obviously, that's something that's going to update frequently, but every time you look at it, it's not going to impact your credit score because it is a soft pull on that. Public records, those are obtained from local, state, and federal courts covering bankruptcies, judgments, and liens. Okay, so your rights under the FCRA are: 1, to know what information is in the consumer's file; 2, to ask for a credit score; to dispute inaccurate information; to give consent before a reporting agency shares information with an employer; to limit the number of pre-screened credit offers extended due to information in the credit report; to seek damages from violators of the FCRA. There is a link here, which I believe I can copy and paste, maybe.
Just in case, FCRA is the Federal Credit Reporting Act.
Okay, so we will throw up a bunch of links. Kristen, I can also send this to you. Or if you want to use the chat feature, guys, and throw your emails in there, I can send this to you as well. Miriam, Andre, do you mind manning the chat? Because I'm now seeing that there are questions that are being asked. Or are you guys answering them in the chat?
We've actually been responding to a few of them.
Oh, okay, just kidding. You guys are doing great. I was not paying attention to the chat, so I'm like, oh gosh, there's questions. Okay.
You got that part, we got this part.
Okay, perfect, awesome. You guys are great, thank you. Okay. Credit and loans, different types of loans. Closed-end loans are house, car, boat, savings account, certificate of deposit. These are set amounts, set terms, fixed interest rates, and collateralized or unsecured. lines of credit, your HELOCs, overdraft protection, credit cards, unsecured lines of credit. Those are set loan amounts. They can take it in pieces or in whole, variable rate, and can be secured or unsecured. Moral to this story is always pay every bill on time. That's it, guys. It's as easy as that. As long as you pay your bills on time. And again, I always say, if it's in your control to keep it under 30% of that threshold, please do so. And then a little divvy of the three-legged lending stool: your loan, house, car, credit card, boat, your debt versus income. Is it within guidelines? Collateral, is it worth what you want to borrow? Unsecured net worth, and your credit score. So all of those are factors in that. I am also going to, I'm going to skip over that actually. Additional resources, you have bbt.com/financial foundations. And I'm actually going to throw up, not this one, this virtual flyer. So guys, if you have a cell phone, I'm an Apple user. I know, Miriam, you're an Android user, so you'll have to assist me on how they can utilize this. But if you're an Apple user, I want you to open your camera feature, like you're going to take a picture, and hover it over that pixelated square to the right of the screen. Once you do that, you're actually going to get a pop-up. With that pop-up is a website, and this is going to give you guys a plethora of information, including financial foundations. So if you click on financial foundations, and actually I'm going to bring you to the website because it's a lot bigger on here. I'll come back to that so you guys can see that in a minute. Let me move my screen around. All right, you guys are to the right now. So on our website, guys, you can find all of the financial foundations. There is over 30 different modules, anything from basics of what's the difference between a checking and savings, credit, how is it built, how is it maintained, how do I rebuild it, to taxes. If you've never filed your taxes or you're unsure how to file them, they have a piece on that. Home ownership, if you don't currently own your home, where do I start? What's the first step? So they have pieces on that. Retirement reviews. I'm sure everybody wants to retire, but are we ready to retire is the real question. You know, yes, physically we're ready, but are we financially ready? Miriam's laughing like, yes, girl, I'm almost there. I know, take me with you. But that will actually give you an overview. And again, this is if you are not wanting to reach out to a banker personally, but we do offer those consultations absolutely free. You do not have to have a membership with us, an account with us. We're here to help. So definitely, everyone has thrown up their, all of the bankers on here have thrown up their information. I do want to encourage you guys, you can put a, an email or a phone number. If you want to send it to one of us privately because you don't want your peers to see that, that's fine. You can actually send a message separately and put your information on there. I will actually send you the link to this financial foundations and also that flyer, and I can set up a consultation for you guys. I do want to let you guys know with the education, we also have other tools and resources. That is also including accounts. If you are underbanked, unbanked, or you're just not happy with where you're banking, we have so many different things that we can offer you. One is the Elite at Work. It is a premier account, and it's direct deposit derived. As long as $750 goes into the account, it is absolutely free. If you're not really looking for a direct deposit one, we actually have others that we can offer too. And for those of you who may have had a shaky banking relationship, maybe you've overdrafted a couple too many times, that's okay, and haven't been able to reestablish a banking relationship, we can help with those accounts too. Maybe you have a teenager and you're not ready for them to have a checking account yet, but you want them to be able to utilize a debit card and have, you know, a card that they can put their direct deposit on. Guys, we do have a Bank On certified safe and affordable product that keeps you from overdrafting, keeps you from maybe making those mistakes, but also gives you a second chance if maybe that is something that you're looking to do. And that one is only $5 a month. But I'm going to send you the flyer that has the code. That's where you'll put all of this information in on Get Started. Are you a BB&T client? No. Put in, select your state. I'm assuming we're all in Florida. If not, you can select that. And you will put that code here, 012345. That's not the code, but I will send it to you. Just wanted to give you a for instance. So when that pops up, guys, it's going to give you a plethora of different decisions that you can make. Obviously, fundamentals 5 months, or you have things like Bright Banking. This one says $0 or $12. Elite at Work says $0 or $15. If you have that code, that's where that $0 falls into place, okay? It also says $100 minimum opening deposit. Guess what? You do not have to have an opening deposit as long as you have that code and you select direct deposit on there. It will then select it for your direct deposit to go through. We also have senior checking and student checking. If you're looking for the second chance account, it's actually on the screen prior. Forgot to mention that too. Hang on one second. It'll just be on the drop-down box. So the drop-down box, you'll look for a prepaid debit card. Those are your options. Just wanted to let you guys know that all of that is there for you. And again, I'm going to post up this flyer so that you guys can see this as well. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of what that looks like. So along with tools and resources, along with these workshops, we are offering face-to-face consultations. We do know that COVID is around. So if you're uncomfortable with face-to-face, you're not sure if you want to go into a branch, that's okay. We can do Zooms. We can do one-on-ones via WebEx, email, phone chats. All of our bankers have access to all of these features. And we really do encourage you guys to get started with that. A journey of 1,000 miles, guys, does take one step at a time. It's up to you to take that initial step. We do know that it's going to be a journey, and that's okay. Credit takes time, just like getting abs in a gym. You just got to start. You got to start. And the more you have, you know, the trainer that you have, all of those fall into place. And that's what really makes the difference. Just having someone look at it to make sure what you're currently doing, what can you do differently? The same actions create the same results. So let's take a chance on ourselves, guys. Let's start something new. Start with ourselves and make sure that we're making an impact on ourselves. All right. So I'm going to open the floor up to anyone who has questions on anything that we spoke about. And I am going to also throw up my information into the chat box for you guys. Make sure you take a screenshot of it. Reach out to me at any time, okay? Take the floor. Even if the bankers want to chime in, go for it.
Is everyone really this shy? Or is just everyone on mute? But okay, I'll be the first one to say something. So thank you, Christina. A lot of good, useful information. Some great questions that happened in the chat box as well, including some, one individual asked about the new FICO index, which is pretty new in how they're measuring things nowadays. So, and that can affect a client in so many ways, because if you make your credit card payments on time, but your credit utilization is high, you're actually letting your credit score go further down. Mm-hmm. And it happens quite a bit now. So just some additional things to look at. We are here to help anyone with any of your needs.
Absolutely.
Again, you do not have to be a client of the bank to ask us a question, because at the end of the day, we just want you to make the right decision. So my email and my phone number is located in the chat box, along with Christina, Miriam, and Tari. So, you know, to everyone that took out the time out of your day to be on this call, greatly appreciated. Amen. If there's anything that you feel that we can do to improve, please let those at the city that coordinated the call, I think it was, is it Kristen and Ms. Jenkins? And we can definitely tweak things as we possibly may need it. But we all work together to ensure that we deliver the right message to everyone. So thank you, Christina, and thank you to everyone that's on the call. It was a great pleasure to be here.
I'm going to leave the chat up just a little bit longer. Anybody who wants to add their email so we can send out this flyer as well, please do so. Anybody have any testimonies for maybe clients that you've actually been able to help with their credit and how that all got started?
Actually, I do. I have a client who I started with, ironically, it was with an auto loan, and we were able to get her approved. She was in the 600s, but the rate was pretty hefty, and the terms weren't great. She had some late pays on her credit report, but she still needed, to keep, currently making the payments that she was making on time. And once the 2-year window passed by, I can tell you that the lenders look at that as far as the time frame of how long since your last late, that if there's a 2-year window, it's a great way to rehabilitate your credit. And we were able to refinance that vehicle from a 5-year to a 3-year, and we knocked 2.5% off of her rate, which lowered her payments significantly. But her credit score had gone up by over 60 points.
Wow, that's awesome. So I have my own testimony. About 4 years ago, my credit was 4 or 5 years ago, had to have been 5. My credit was a little under 500. I know, very embarrassing. But that was due to me making mistakes with my credit cards. You tell an 18, 19-year-old that they have $1,000 limit on a credit card, guys, I spent $1,000 and I paid the minimum balance. And I didn't realize, I just didn't know what interest rate was. I couldn't figure out why, if I'm paying the minimum balance, is it going higher? I'm making a payment. Why is this going higher? Why am I not paying this off? And, I just didn't have someone I could go to. I didn't have very financially savvy family members. So it was trial and error. And I finally said, okay, well, tax season comes around. I'm just going to pay them all off, because it was just exhausting to watch them. So I paid them off, closed them out. And then for 2 years, I was paying my cell phone. I was paying my, my car insurance, because I had a paid off car at that time. I was paying my student loan, but I couldn't figure out why my credit really wasn't growing. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I finally spoke to somebody who was financially knowledgeable, and they looked at my credit and they're like, it's something simple. And I'm like, what? You have no lines of credit. You need a credit card. And I'm like, no way. You're not putting me back in the same predicament that I was in. And they actually just told me about credit, how it works, what the guidelines were. And I was like, oh, I had no idea about a 30% threshold, none of that information. And guys, I opened a $300 secure credit card, and within 6 to 9 months, they were issuing me a regular credit card. And now I promise you, my credit is now above 750. So, and I think that only took about 2 to 3 years to accomplish. So it really wasn't long. And I started to see my credit improve within 6 months. So it took me, 2, 3 years to get it to 750, but still saying, like, this doesn't have to be an extended, super long journey. It could be something so simple. You're just not aware of it. So again, if you're interested, throw your email up. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to offer any of our guidance so that we can start helping you guys like they helped me. All right, Kristen, I think that's it.
Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Christina, for joining and leading this. This is amazing. So thank you, guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to the emails in the chat or to the Riviera Beach CRA team, and we can get you their email addresses so that you have them. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys joining, and we will see you soon. Have a great day.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.